Assalamu alaikum. This is Prapunti Chakraborty welcoming you to the English news from BTV Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Foreign observer would not be allowed which observed last 3 polls, informs CC. Month-long July procession of National Citizen Party begins in Kushtia today. Information advisor calls for building democratic state to protect civil rights with spirit of July uprising. Foreign currency reserves at now over 31 billion US dollars. Graph of dengue cases rises sharp in Chattogram. Authorities stress maintaining precautionary advisories. US President Donald Trump announces new tariff rates on 14 other countries, including Bangladesh. And Bangladesh batting against Sri Lanka in series deciding third ODI at Pallekele International Cricket Stadium. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The Election Commission does not wish to allow foreign observer organizations that previously validated the last 3 national elections as free and fair to monitor the upcoming parliamentary elections. Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasiruddin made this statement to journalists today following a meeting with Canada's High Commissioner to Bangladesh, Ajit Singh, at the Election Commission headquarters in Agargaon. The CEC state that they have already sent a letter to the European Union inviting them to observe the upcoming elections. He added that many foreign observers are expected to attend the next election, and they hope those with prior experience and expertise in election observations will participate. However, he issued a warning that those foreign organizations which declared the last 3 controversial elections as fair and legitimate will not be accepted this time. The CEC further said that Canada supports the holding of a free, fair, and credible election in Bangladesh and confirmed that Canada will continue its cooperation in the electoral process. On the 8th day of the month-long July procession, the National Citizen Party NCP has started the march in Kushtia today. The leaders of the NCP began the procession by visiting the grave of Buet student Abrar Fahad, who was brutally killed by the Chhatri League in Kushtia this morning. Prior to this, NCP leaders traveled to Kushtia from Pabna at night. At a rally organized in Pabna, the governor of the NCP, Nahid Islam, stated that the youth is dreaming of reconstructing the country. He announced that on August 3rd, demands for justice, reform, and a new constitution will be declared at the central Shohid Minar. Information and Broadcasting Advisor Muhammad Mahfuz Alam called for following the spirit of July mass uprising and building a democratic state where civil rights of all will be protected. He said this at the premiere show of the documentary Shrabon Bidroho, made on the July uprising at the main auditorium of the Bangladesh National Museum in Shahbag yesterday. Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Advisor Professor Dr. Asif Nazrul, Housing and Public Works Advisor Adilur Rahman Khan, and Cultural Affairs Advisor Mustafa Sarwar Faruqi also spoke on the occasion with Information and Broadcasting Secretary Mahbuba Farzana in the chair. Mahfuz Alam said the initiative to exhibit the documentary has been taken to keep the role of the martyrs of the July uprising in the public memory. He called on everyone to remember the sacrifices of the martyrs and work for the welfare of the country. Speaking on the occasion, Professor Asif Nazrul said, "July will never be forgotten. regarding the trial of those involved in the July massacre. He said the trial of the killers will be completed before the upcoming national elections. Adilur Rahman Khan said, "Fascist forces are trying to come back, but their conspiracy must be resisted." He called upon everyone to be vocal so that fascism can never raise its head again. Mustafa Sarwar Farooqi said, "If there is a political consensus, fascism will not be able to come back." He called on everyone to unite and work for the welfare of the country, to implement the purpose for which the martyrs sacrificed their lives in the July uprising. Shohid Abu Said's father, Maqbul Hussain, and martyred journalist Tahir Zaman Prio's mother, Shamshi Ara Zaman, also spoke at the event. They demanded speedy trial of those involved in the killing of all the martyrs in the uprising. Relatives of the martyrs and injured in the July uprising, students, university teachers, government officials, and people from different classes and professions were present at the premiere show. The documentary Shravan Bidroho has been produced by the Directorate of Film and Publications under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. This documentary, centered on the July uprising, shows the background of the movement, chronology of the events of July uprising, and change of the consensus of the students and the common people against the fascism regime. The 30-minute documentary includes rare videos, still photographs, and graffiti from the movement, which are living documents of the July uprising. Finance advisor Dr. Saliuddin Ahmed has expressed optimism that the United States imposed tariffs on Bangladeshi products can be reduced through discussions. He made this remark while speaking to reporters today after a meeting of the Public Procurement Advisory Committee at the Secretariat, highlighting that Bangladesh's trade deficit with the U.S. is only $5 billion. The advisor said imposing a 35% tariff on Bangladeshi products is not justified. He noted that trade advisor Sheikh Boshiruddin is currently in the U.S. and the Commerce Secretary is also set to visit, though a letter has reportedly been sent regarding the 35% tariff. Dr. Saliuddin clarified that it was not an official letter. A meeting between the U.S. Trade Representative and Bangladeshi officials are scheduled for July 9th, he added. The advisor mentioned that this time there will be one-on-one negotiations, and he is hopeful that direct discussions with the U.S. will be fruitful. He assured that necessary measures will be taken based on the outcome of the talks. In the last fiscal, Bangladesh's foreign currency reserves exceeded $31 billion by the end of June due to a record inflow of remittance. During the period, Bangladesh received the highest remittance inflow in its history. The amount was $30.3 billion, an increase of around 37% compared to the previous fiscal year. According to Bangladesh Bank, remittance sent by expatriates played the most significant role in increasing the forex reserve. Analysts said that the interim government, which took over after the fall of the previous regime, repaid a substantial amount of foreign loans left behind. Expatriate remittance fighters, driven by patriotism, declared solidarity with the government and began sending remittance through legal channels. This led to a steady increase in the foreign currency reserve. As a result, the economy is beginning to recover. Economists pointed out that not only are expatriates sending money from foreign channels, but the decline in money laundering compared to previous years has also contributed to the growth in reserves. At the same time, the local economy is picking up and exports are also on the rise. They, however, emphasized that relying solely on remittance is not enough to stabilize the country's economy. Export volumes must be increased and product diversification must also be ensured. Over-defense and dependence on a single export item should be reduced, and above all, political stability must be ensured in the country, they opined. Dengue cases are on a sharp rise in Chattogram district, with both the city and its surrounding upazilas reporting an increasing number of patients. In the first 6 days of the current monsoon season alone, 39 dengue patients have been identified in the city, while 44 new cases have emerged in the district. Heavy rainfalls has also been identified as a result and key factor contributing to the surge, leading to an increase in Aedes mosquito populations. Dengue infection is spreading more rapidly this monsoon season, and many affected individuals are currently receiving treatment in various hospitals. The health department reported the identification of 22 dengue patients in Chattogram over the past 24 hours. 2 people have died of dengue during this season. Doctors are urging timely treatment and dengue identification to curb the spread of the disease. Authorities are stressing the importance of destroying Aedes mosquito breeding grounds to prevent further outbreaks. Citizens are advised to take necessary precautions, including personal cleanliness and ensuring no water accumulates anywhere, along with the use of Aedes mosquito nets. The monsoon season arriving late in Ashar has brought continuous rainfall since this morning, significantly distributing public life and causing considerable problems for daily commuters and workers. Many have faced immense difficulties navigating the waterlogged streets and reaching their destinations. Bodinga Meteorological Office in the city confirmed a significant 61 millimeters of rainfall has been recorded in the city in the last 24 hours as of noon today. Bodinga Meteorological Office anticipated a slight decrease in rainfall for the next 2 days. However, predictions indicate a return to continuous rain after a brief respite. Now, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced the imposition of supplementary tariff on Bangladesh and 13 other countries. He has sent letters to these 14 countries announcing the new tariff rates. In the letter, Trump stated that starting from August 1st, 2025, we will impose a tariff of 35% on any products sent from Bangladesh to the United States. He writes that this tariff will be applicable in addition to all sector-based tariffs. If goods are sent through transshipment to avoid high tariffs, that high tariff will also be imposed on them. Countries that have faced tariff along with Bangladesh include Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, Serbia, Indonesia, South Africa, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Malaysia, Tunisia, Japan, and South Korea. After these, Myanmar and Laos have faced the highest tariff of 40%. Although new tariff rates have been announced, Donald Trump has stated that we will keep the door open for negotiations. This means he may be flexible with many countries before August 1st. Trump has said that the August 1st deadline is not final. The letter has been published on Trump's Truth Social. U.S. President Donald Trump has said he thinks talks to end the war in Gaza have been going along very well as he hosted Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington, D.C. Trump also expressed confidence that Hamas has been willing to end the 21-month conflict. They want to meet and they want to have that ceasefire, he said in unexpected remarks to reporters at the White House. The meeting came after the latest rounds of indirect ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas in Qatar ended without a breakthrough. The negotiations were expected to continue this week. In Monday's remarks, Trump was asked by the journalist what was preventing a peace deal in Gaza, and he said, "I don't think there is a holdup. I think things are going along very well." Both leaders were asked about potential plans to relocate Palestinians, with Trump saying he has cooperation from countries neighboring Israel. Netanyahu, meanwhile, said he has been with the U.S. on finding countries that will give Palestinians a better future. If people want to stay, they can stay. But if they want to leave, they should be able to leave, Netanyahu said. Now, sports news. Cricket. Bangladesh is batting in the series-deciding third ODI against Sri Lanka at Ballakilly International Cricket Stadium. Kushal Mendis struck a brilliant century to help Sri Lanka post a challenging 285-7 as earlier Sri Lanka won the toss and closed the bat first. Kushal steadied the ship with an eye-catching 114-ball 124, an innings laced with 18 boundaries. He was ably supported by Sri Lanka, who made 58 of 68, including 9 for. They set the platform of the challenging total with a 124-run partnership for the fourth wicket. But the departure of the duo in quick succession denied Sri Lanka a total closer to 300 that looked highly possible. Led by Taskin Ahmed, who finished with 251, Bangladesh bounced back into the game in the death overs, denying Sri Lanka lower over batting in aggressive mode. Bangladesh captain Mehdi Hassan Miraj also took 2 wickets for 48 runs and played an important part in tying down the batters in the middle overs.